Hello, educators! Happy June! You have made it to June. We are solidly in June. I hope your June is just relaxing. I know it's not, but I hope that it's relaxing and you are enjoying your time. I hope your air conditioning is working. I hope there's freezies and popsicles flowing for you, if not even your students. And I hope you're just easing out of the school year. That's what I'm really hoping for you. This video is about 4 things that I do before I even leave my classroom. And this needs to be said now because I want you to be as prepared as possible when you leave your classroom at the end of June. And then we don't think about teaching until we come back. So the first thing that I want to talk about is we always are trying to be more organized. We don't have a lot of time. We are always trying to be more organized and structured and routine-y. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. But really, we're so exhausted at this point, and I 100% understand that you're exhausted. Your air conditioning is probably not working. You're done. But we want to think about our future selves. So I want to think about future Amy in September or in August, and what does future Amy, how can I support future Amy to ease into September? So we're thinking about our future selves. How can we really support our future selves, even though we don't want to think about that right now? I know. So I'm trying to do this to make it as easy as possible for you. We really want to spend this time doing this now while things are easing out, while the movies are running. Like, put a movie on for your students and get this stuff done, right? Try and save yourself stress and energy in September and August. Okay, so the first thing that I do is we got to end out the year. So I have a free end of year checklist that I've printed out. This is free on my website, and it's just a list of things that you need to do. And instead of like being like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? Like, it's just here for you. So like, organize your classroom cupboards, get your students to do it. Get rid of things you no longer need. Like, what's garbage, what's broken. Like, every year my kids break my stapler or my 3-hole punch. Like, throw that stuff out. Try and organize your Google Drive. I have a link here in this if you look on it online, and it takes you to an organization that I've made by subject. Like, in language, there's like writing and sentences, and there's so much stuff. So it's a really good thing, just a way to spend some time organizing. Organize your teacher resources. Like, is there outdated things that you just need to garbage, or that you don't teach grade 3 anymore so you can share with somebody else? Is there stuff that's you spilled coffee on, whatever it may be? And classroom books, so try and get maybe do some fixing with some tape. Get your students to like look at ones like that look like they're from the 1900s and they're never ever going to read. Like, pull those ones out. Next is cleaning. So cleaning your bulletin boards, just like ripping that stuff off is like the best feeling. Clean out their desks, clean out your desk. I know you probably have like expired aspirin or something in your desk. So go through it, get rid of it. We are always in such a rush, right? Like, I'm always like, oh, bleh, I'll deal with that later. And that's not what we want. We want to start the new school year with a nice, clean area. Clean out their lockers and clean your games. Like, make sure that they have all the pieces. Get your students to check. I always use playing cards. Excuse me. And there's never a deck of cards that has all of them in them. So get your kids to do that. A lot of stuff you can put on your students because we are just sort of trying to get to the end. Make a bin of things you need to bring home. Some plants, maybe if you have plants in your classroom. Expensive items, like I always bring home my speakers or my computer. I think that's really it. And food, like don't leave granola bars. One time I left a box of Smarties, like a whole box of Smarties, like not like a box of Smarties, like the Halloween box of Smarties in my like closet. And I thought, oh, those will be great for September. The mice went through it all. There was not anything left. It was just a bunch of wrappers. It was so disgusting. There was mouse poop everywhere. So just get rid of that, or put it in a tub or two, like tub it and then put it in another tub if you were going to keep food there. But I would just bring it home. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Prep for next year. So it says leave classroom setup on the door or on your whiteboard. So sometimes you can just draw out your classroom on your whiteboard with the door and the windows and sort of display how you want the desks to be laid out, or where you want your teacher desk, so that the custodians can do that. Hopefully you have custodians that are kind enough to do that for you. I always never really know what I want, so I'm always sort of just like, you know, put my teacher desk here, but just leave it on the side and I'll figure it out. Photocopy meet the teacher and first day notes. We're going to talk about that. And plan first week, making calendars, expectations and routines, and get to know you games. So this is a really good list to print out. Again, it's free. This is something that I made because I'm headed back to the classroom next year. It's my meet the teacher note. Like, how cute is this? How cute. So I just filled it out with a bunch of information. There will be a template that you can actually go to this one. I've just taken out my contact information, so you know, can't stalk me too much. But I just wrote about a couple things about me. So education, just about me, like welcome to the 4th grade. I don't know if I'm teaching the 4th grade. I think I'm teaching a 3-4, but it might be a 4. Who knows? My favorite things, which is always fun to sort of do. My contact information. So I don't give out my personal phone number. I give out the school's phone number. I used to, you know, really want to be the best teacher ever and give out my phone number. I don't do that anymore. They can call the school if they have problems or whatever. And they can email me, of course. And some fun facts. I also sort of edited this one, and you can see that in there because it's part of the template. But this is something that I would suggest you sort of think about, or maybe you've already thought about and you just want to continue what you've done this year, or this year to next year. So I really had to think about it because I'm been out of the classroom for 2 years. So I'm coming back. So it says, what can you expect from Mrs. Bowker? So I said in communication, I'll be sending a weekly email home on Friday about what we worked on. I usually do this with the students. So we sort of do like a summary and then we send it home. I really want to be upfront about rules and consequences. So I talked about that and behavior. I really believe in setting some boundaries, and one of my edu boundaries that I've created is that I check my email once a day. That's not really true. I check it more than that for sure, but I will only be responding to their emails once in the morning, and if there's anything going on during the day, they can email or they can reach out to the school. But otherwise, like, I really want to be present in my classroom and be able to be there rather than be on my computer all the time. I also have a blurb about homework, because homework is always the big thing that kids want to know. And so I say straight up, I don't believe in homework. I don't want to give them homework. I will not be giving them homework. But I do believe that they should be reading for 20 minutes every night. So just ask them to encourage that. So these 2 sheets are available as a template for free, of course. And then the last thing that I think is really helpful, because I find even being out of the classroom for 2 years, or even honestly year to year. I find back to school so overwhelming because there's so much you have to do and so much you need to prep and so many things you need to gather and blah, 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 blah. So what I did is I made a back to school checklist, which is, I think, really helpful for me to just be like, you know, okay, I'm going to go have their supplies and I'm going to go get all of their supplies and like, so, and then figure out how to organize them. But it has a list of student supplies about what they need, my supplies. So like, what do I need to create? I need to create a weekly schedule, a daily schedule, just like for me to write in. I'm going to be using, as you know, I created this teacher planner. So that's all in here already. Like it's already created, but I just will need to figure out like what I'm doing when. Student checklist with all my students' names, Kleenex, stapler, tape, 3-hole puncher, markers, dry erase. I hate the dry erase markers that they give us. Like they're just dry, and I know they're called dry erase, but they are not, they don't write well. So I like to buy my own stuff like that. And then we have yearly setup. So this might become more in August, depending on if you know your students, who they are already. But like classroom allergies, so being really like thoughtful of putting out like no tree nuts or something in the classroom. Meet the teacher note, we already discussed. Save, I like to have groups of emails instead of like typing out each student or each parent's email. I like to make groups of all the parents' emails. So putting those all in, so I can just write parents' emails in my Gmail and just auto bloops. Create a Google Classroom, a communication plan. Like, are we going to do an email? Are we going to do a blog? What are we doing? Documenting plans. So like, how am I going to document like behavior or issues or whatever that I'm seeing? Every year I like to make a mission statement, and a mission statement is something that's actually involved in this planner. There's a guide to help you write one, but it's basically like, who do you want to be when you're not in the room? What do you want your teachers or well, it could be your colleagues or your students to say about you, like if they were to describe you. So like, how do you want to be this year, right? We always want to be our best, but really thinking about that and being intentional about that. And if I want to be a calm teacher, then I need to really take care of myself and remain calm and meditate or whatever I need to do to remain that. If I want to be really like fun and like high energy, what am I going to have to do for that? Probably a lot of sugar. Plan classroom tours for students with anxiety or special needs. That's always helpful. And just to meet with them sort of more one-on-one. Connect with support teachers you're going to have in your classroom and just sort of talking about where they can help or how you want to work together. And then checking OSRs for incoming students. So I don't really like to do that because I don't want, you know, if a kid was suspended for punching a kid in the face, like I don't want that to take over how I feel about them. So I really like to meet them first, you know, the first week without sort of reading through their OSR. But I would definitely highlight some kids with IEPs or behaviors about just like how you can help them. You don't want to form like a prejudgment about them. I'm sure there's a word for that. I can't think about it right now, but you want to be prepared. So if you have a kid with autism, like make sure that you have like really specific things for them, or if you need like a visual schedule because you have non-readers yet, then make sure you have that stuff and you sort of know who you're getting before the first day. And then I just have a classroom setup blurb. Excuse me. So desk setup. So yours and the student's seating plan, anchor charts if you want to have anything displayed. Date. I have like a flippable date thing that I really love. Daily schedule, Chromebook station, decorations if you want them, student mailboxes, classroom library, accommodations for IEPs. And then I have two sort of blank ones, colleagues or other. So I'm sure I've definitely missed something here. If I've missed something here, I'd love if you could comment and let me know. And also if I've missed something in the end of year checklist, please let me know, because I would love to update it. Or if you have any really cool ideas about Meet the Teacher note, please let me know, because I would, again, like all of our brains together is so much better. But I think thinking about all of this and then doing all these things that we have to do, right? And then planning out the first week. So like, what is really, and I think this sort of comes back to your mission statement. Like if your mission this year, because you know you have a lot of behaviors, is to really have a calm, quiet classroom, like how are you going to instill that? Are you going to teach meditation the first day? Are you going to make rules with them? Like what is going to be really important to you to discuss first, right? So I always do name tags on the first day. This year I was thinking about doing like little buttons that have the button thing where they can put on their t-shirt if there's a supply teacher. I really like that idea. Or, sorry, the button metal thing on the back plus a magnet. So it could be, you know, on their chest if there's a supply teacher, or for like the first week, right? Because we're learning names. And then it could go to like a magnetic board where it's like who's out, who's here, right? For like attendance, bathroom, or other, right? So it could be sort of like a place to like where they move themselves, which might be really cute. Anyway, that's just an idea I'm thinking of. So making a name tag, maybe the buttons, we'll figure that out. And then talking to the students about how they want their classroom to be. Like, what are they maybe really into? Maybe they're really into music, and during transitions, we're going to play one of their songs. Amazing. Like, whatever they're into, we want to sort of incorporate in our class to let them know that they're important. That's why we're here. We're here for them. We also want to build a community. So I like doing a lot of like STEM challenges. At first, in the first, like maybe like one a day for the first week or so. And then I like to do like one a week, but the spaghetti marshmallow challenge is really great. It's 18 minutes. They get hard spaghetti noodles, marshmallows, tape, and string, and they have to make the tallest tower they can. So in groups, which is really fun, and sometimes that's a disaster. There is the stacking cup one with the strings where they have to sort of work together. There's something called Save Fred. I've never done that one, but I've heard it's really popular. So there are really great ones that you can do. I think something that I haven't focused on a lot is name games, because I know that it's sort of awkward, and I know that I don't like them and I don't think that they like them. But I think it's really important that they learn their names. Like sometimes it's shocking when it's like April and they're like, give it to her. And I was like, who's her? And they're like, I don't know her name. And I'm just like, how do you not know their name yet? Like, what? So that's something I really want to focus on, a name game every single day for the first week. And maybe like have like a prize for somebody who can name all of their names at the end of the week. Anyway, also we want to do some community building. So again, like STEM challenges, fun, like not competitive, but like team building ideas, but also thinking about getting to know commonalities. So what are we all into mostly in the classroom? Like, are we really into movies or music or whatever it may be, soccer? And then coming up with some rules. So how do they want their classroom to be? And then very clearly stating the rules with them. and maybe giving it a little time. When I worked at the private school, they came up with rules. I don't remember what they called them. It wasn't rules, but they came up with rules, and they actually just had them on a whiteboard for weeks, and they would bring it up every so often to be like, are we still cool with these rules? Is there anything that we need to add? And it was sort of like an ongoing thing for about a month and a half or so. So that was really interesting to sort of see, to give it more time, so that the students could sort of see, you know, issues that were starting to happen in the classroom and things that they wanted to address, and like be able to voice that. So I think that's really interesting to think about. Is usually I try to cement the rules within the first 2 days, and that is fast. It is really fast. I think also coming up with your consequence plan of like, first you get a warning, then you get moved, then you get a stop and think about it sheet, and then we call home. Like very specific, so that they know. I think it's really important that they know exactly what's going to happen if they're not, you know, doing what they should be, or if they're disrupting the class. But this is all the things we need to think about before we even start school. So it is a lot. I really want you to take the time to do these things before you leave June 26th, I think it is. Take this time to, you know, put on a movie, you know, share, like put a movie on with another teacher, and you get some free time, and then do it again with another teacher, and you can take over for that. Because we really need to take care of ourselves. We really need to prep for our future selves. So these things will really help us end our year really well and prep for our new year, and be, you know, calm and centered when we arrive, because we know that like the first week we're all set up. So it's just sort of less stress. We want to have a really less stressful year. If that's something that you are really worried about, your mental health, your, you know, taking care of yourself, boundaries, like if you're really noticing that you're not taking care of yourself and you're not having boundaries, and you're sort of feeling, you know, exhausted, that's just really teaching world. I get that. But also I'm so excited about this planner, because it really does take you through the stages of what are you going to do for self-care. And there's several types. So, you know, trying to hit all the different types of self-care, set up your boundaries, and then set up your mission statement. And then it checks on every month. How did you do this month? What do we need to change? What are your goals for next month? And then the same thing again, like reflect, what do we need to change? And then goals. So I think it's going to be really beneficial for me. I know it's going to be beneficial for you. It's on Amazon for sale in the paperback copy, or on my website at amyebowker.com. So you can print it out yourself if you are interested. Anyway, I really hope this was really, really helpful. If you find it helpful, please subscribe to my newsletter. It goes out once a week with this video, and you will be able to see also a lot of the links I'll share with you there. Again, happy June.